Oh, boy. Well, that was about as bad as it could have gone. Other than, I mean, I guess it could have been worse. Two more starters could have gotten, injured and left the game. No injuries, nothing like that happened. The Knicks just got utterly humiliated in Detroit by the Pistons, the hungry Pistons, the Eastern Conference leading Pistons, who the Knicks just about 8 days ago were a game away from first place, from tying for first. And now they have fallen to third place after losing their first suffering their first 4-game losing streak of the season in what is the worst loss of the season for the New York Knicks. A 31-point loss, which totally eclipsed the 17-point loss they had to the Orlando Magic early on in the season. One of the reasons why I wasn't I was becoming concerned, but I wasn't panicking, is because the Knicks, even in these losses, they were close. They were there. They just couldn't pull it together for various factors. I've tried to rationalize them, justify them, not make excuses for them, just explain them. They've played the most games of any team since the NBA Cup. They've had 2 back-to-backs. They had to play on Christmas Day and New Year's Eve, and then travel, and then play back-to-backs. All of that messes with you. It messes with your internal clock. It messes with your chemistry. But nothing can excuse what we saw today in Detroit. They were throttled by the Pistons. They only scored 61 points in the final 3 quarters of this game. Karl Anthony Towns, when Mike Brown finally put us out of misery by having to watch him flail about, when he finally sat his big fucking ass down, he had the same amount of points as turnovers in this game. 6. Why did he not shoot a 3 when he had it open? Why did he constantly think I'm going to drive past beef stew? And guess what? He fucked you. He fucked us. You fucked us. Inexcusable. Unacceptable. No one can play this game like you. And meanwhile, you're reducing yourself into just another guy. Shoot the fucking rock when you got the ball. Shoot it. Drive. Pull up for a midi. Have you never fucking watched Joker play? Do you think he drives every time all the way to the fucking hoop? No. Because he's a big fuck and he's going to get mauled. And he's not going to get the foul calls. So grow the fuck up, Karl Anthony Towns. Play the game the way it's being called. Stop whining and whimpering and complaining to the refs. Because most of the time, when you're bitching, you did cause that foul. There definitely are times where you should get calls, but that's not your life. That's not your existence. Play to the game. This loss is on Karl Anthony Towns tonight. There's many other culprits that had a hand in this, but Towns tonight, without Jalen Duren, sat in street clothes. Tobias Harris, I don't even think he was even in the arena. Karis LeVert didn't play, but Jalen Duren doesn't play. The guy you're competing for, along with Giannis to represent the 5 position in the All-Star game. And you could only muster up 6 points tonight. Unbelievable. I've defended you a lot. I've tried to rationalize your style of play a lot. But tonight, no. This was unacceptable. And I know that you know. But I couldn't fucking stand it. I can't remember whether it was the previous game, the game 3 loss of this streak, or was it game 2, where you were off on the sideline smiling and talking while the fucking game is happening and you have fouled out. When I saw that from you, it disgusted me. It's like, sit your ass down and suffer while you watch what's happening on the floor right here, while your team is losing because you're not on the floor, because you committed stupid foul after stupid foul after stupid foul, along with turnovers and turnovers and turnovers. When I saw that, it really put me back. It really set me back on you, man. Honestly. And you know what's going to happen tomorrow morning? January 6th, exactly 1 month away from the trade deadline. You know what's going to happen? The chirps, the rumors, the discussions. Should we trade for Giannis? Well, you have opened that fucking door, Karl-Anthony Towns, with the way you have been playing the past couple of weeks. Especially during this 4-game losing streak. Even before that. Knicks won games because of incredible heroics. A lot of them were Brunson during this stretch since the NBA Cup. I get it. You had the stomach flu. I had it too. It sucked. Took me down for 24 hours. But you bounce back. Because you have to. Because you're a man. Because you got mouths to feed. You got people to please. You got bosses. You got fans. Supporters. People who believe in you. You can't shatter those dreams. Now, you're probably surrounded by a great group of people who support you and love you and will not give you this fucking talk. Well, I hope somebody hears it. I hope somebody hears it and they relay this to you, man. It is an absolute proven fact that the success of this Knicks team hinges upon you, Karl-Anthony Towns. No other player. Brunson's going to do what he does. He's going to deliver. Even when he's struggling, he's going to deliver his buckets. Yes. Is he like the 4th worst defender in the NBA? Yes, he is. But that's who he is. We knew he was that when they traded for him. And by the way, he's gotten to 2 conference finals as being a terrible defender. As have you. You even did it together last season. But this season is very different than last season. I don't see the same Karl-Anthony Towns this season. I see a very different player. Now, are you saving yourself? Are you pacing yourself? Are you still confused by the offense after game 36? By the way, the Knicks are 23-13 now. They're only 10 games above 500. I don't know about you all, but I'm fucking utterly disgusted. Utterly disgusted. Shout out to the chat. I had to go live for this. Appreciate you guys joining me here tonight on a Monday night on a very, 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 very dark Monday. I had circled this game. But guess who else circled it? The Pistons. And shout out to the Detroit Pistons, man. They came out and they wanted this game. And when the Knicks fell behind in that first quarter and somehow were able to claw back into it, and they were only down by 1 point after the first quarter. It was 30-29. The Pistons, they gathered together and they realized, you know what? We can't mess around. We can't play with our food. We kept letting these guys hang around. And now look, they're only a point behind. They came out right away. What happened? Offensive foul call on Karl-Anthony Towns. OG gets called for an offensive foul, hooking the defender. OG is also a culprit tonight. as well. But I'm putting this on Cat. And Mike Brown, you're not getting away with this either. There was a period in the game where the Knicks literally could not rebound a ball. Cat was in at that time. And then what did you? You sub Cat for Mitch, but then you go really small. You put like Clarkson around, Kolek, all these little tiny guys. Meanwhile, when there's misses, the ball, you need guys who are active, great rebounders. Mitch cannot do it all. So you compounded the problem, Mike Brown, by going so small. Where was Diawara? That guy's an active live body. He looks like a Detroit Piston to me. Where was he in that third quarter when the game was getting crazy out of hand? I don't know about you guys, but I am like really disappointed in this. Incredibly disappointed in this. And then in that second quarter, after OG gets called for the offensive foul, Cat hits a three. His only three of the game. And the score is now 35-32. You're thinking, okay, maybe they'll start getting together. Then he brings the ball down. Instead of shooting another fucking three, he tries to drive into traffic, and a little guy comes from behind and strips the ball from him. Another turnover. The Knicks look totally discombobulated on offense and slow on defense. How do you win against the number one team in the Eastern Conference when that's what you're putting out there on the floor? But with this team, until tonight, honestly, I had been lulled into like thinking, oh, you know what? They're gonna string together a great quarter or a great 10 to 15 minutes, whether it's like midway through the third quarter to, past the midway point of the fourth quarter and take this game over, because they'd done it. They had done it repeatedly. Several times they'd done it. And I'm talking just recently. So I kept thinking, okay, it's a possibility. They're going to do that. Not this time. Not this time, brothers and sisters. Not this time. The Knicks really shit the bed here today. Really shit the bed. All right. Wow. Welcome into the Knicks-Verse. Welcome into the Knicks-Verse, man, I'm heated. I'm amped. If this is your first time here, you're in for quite a surprise. It's an F-bomb fest. But we're gonna get into talking about what this team can do to get back on track. A lot of people might be thinking, oh, this is exposing who the Knicks really are. I'm sure there's a camp like that, and they would be justified in thinking that right now. And then I'm sure there's the hopefuls that, may think, oh, we don't need to panic. It's just midway through this, almost midway through the season. They went through an intense period of time since that NBA Cup. It could be also, the curse of winning the NBA Cup as well. Though I'll get into that, but I think the curse is ridiculous. It's one fucking extra game. It's not like they have to play, a 4 of 7 series or even a 2 out of 3. It's not like they have to play a 2 out of 3. Well, if you count the semifinals and then the final, I guess it could be close to the 2 out of 3, but that's just 2 games. It's just 2 games. Yes, did the Knicks get screwed and have to play a back-to-back, like with just 1 day rest in between there, and they were still on the road? Yes, that totally sucked. But I don't think the extra game of the Cup really can be to blame. I don't think the curse is a real thing, honestly. It just doesn't make any sense. So we'll get into that. We're going to break the game down, man. We're going to break the game down, but don't make no mistake that this game was lost in the paint. somewhere where the Knicks had been thriving for the majority of this season. They had been owning the paint. Tonight, for the third straight game in a row, the Knicks got their asses whooped. Whooped in the restricted area. 52-34. That's a minus 18. Minus 18. Horrific. Horrific. Hit the thumbs up button for me. I appreciate that. Share the video. Drop your comments, especially if you're watching this later. Drop your comments. I want to hear all, read all your thoughts and feelings about this. And we're going to get into it, man. Here we go. 121-90. Worst loss of the New York Knicks season against the one team you didn't want to have this loss against. Because the Pistons are us several years ago. When they lost, where did we lose? To the Heat? We felt humiliated. Or the Hawks. The Hawks, when we lost to the Hawks, it wasn't quite that. In the playoffs, they gave us a run. But we overcame them. They felt that they were the better team. And you know what? They're proving tonight, they proved that maybe they were. And that's a very serious topic. That's a very serious topic that the New York Knicks themselves have to address. Are they actually not really as good as the Detroit Pistons? As SNY says down below, the Knicks have lost 4 straight games for the first time this season. But this guy, 6 points, 6 turnovers on 4 shot attempts, 1 rebound, a minus 27. I'm sorry, but I cannot accept that Karl-Anthony Towns, 7-foot Karl-Anthony Towns, not another 7-footer on the floor, by the way, because Duren didn't play, and JB Bickerstaff didn't go. Who was his other 7-footer that he has? I can't even remember. He didn't go with the other 7-footer. I mean, Isaiah Stewart started for them. What's he, 6'8"? Isaiah Stewart is 6'8". So Cat had 4 inches on the next tallest guy on the bench, on the floor. Who, Paul Reed? Let's see what Paul Reed is. How tall is Paul Reed? 6'9". Okay, 6'9". So a 6'8" and a 6'9", and Karl fucking Towns could only muster up 4 shot attempts. That is sickening. It makes me sick to my stomach. I'm glad I haven't eaten dinner yet. I really am glad I haven't eaten dinner yet. Look at this bullshit right here. 1 of 4. His one basket was a 3-point shot. He missed bunnies down low. He missed a bank shot he normally makes with his eyes closed. I mean, if it weren't for the 3 free throw attempts, he would have had 3 points tonight. And yet, but he played 22 and a half minutes. OG Anunoby played almost 29 minutes. He finished as the high in the low in plus minus. OG Anunoby, who is the plus minus king of the Knicks, a minus 31 tonight. In his 29 minutes of play, he only attempts 3 field goals. How does that happen? It happens because we are not breaking their defense down, getting into the teeth of it, into the paint, and then spraying it, and then moving the ball and cutting. We've gone away from what was working on this offense before the NBA Cup. This offense was cooking at such a high level. It was the second or third best offense, depending on which game you were looking at, for the season in those first 20-something games. But since then, horrific. And I will show you. This is, here we go. Offensively, this is where they were for the first, until December 17th. They had the second best rated offense in the NBA. for the first 25 games, a 122. That is points scored per 100 possessions. 122. But since then, they have dropped all the way down to 16th. You can't. It's not even on the screen. Here they are. 16th. They've dropped to 115.8. They have lost 5 points. No, wait, 5 points or? Yeah, no, 7 points. About 7 points per 100 possessions. Offensively. Not even talking the defense yet. That's just offensively. Now, defensively, it gets even uglier. Even uglier. Defensively, the Knicks had the 10th best defense going into that NBA Cup game. Or actually, it includes the NBA Cup game. Well, no, these stats don't include the NBA Cup game. But going into it, they had a 113.3 defensive rating. They were allowing 113.3 points per 100 possessions. After the NBA Cup, their defense has completely cratered. Look at them. Where are they? Oh, they're 27th. They're allowing 120.7 points per 100 possessions. They are a minus 4.9 in net rating. Minus 4.9. In the 11 games since the NBA Cup, the Knicks have the 25th worst rated team in net rating. Before that, they were the 4th best. That is quite a monumental free fall. Free fall. That's quite a free fall. Wow, that's stunning, honestly. That's stunning. Meanwhile, Coach Brown has been experimenting, trying to figure out different lineups, different things. And if anyone's thinking Josh Hart is going to fix this stuff, got another thing coming. Got another thing coming. Josh Hart may, because what he represents as a human being and as a player, may help spark these guys and just snap them back into where they should be. But he himself isn't going to do it. His presence might help the other guys sharpen their focus and their resolve on both ends of the floor. Possibly. But what I'm seeing right now is a collapse offensively as well as defensively. And the defense is actually impacting their offense. They allowed so many easy buckets to Asar Thompson. He just drove right through the teeth of the Knicks defense and encountered no sharpness. It was almost like they welcomed in. Oh, you want to do a layup? You want to do a dunk? Go ahead. If you miss, that's on you. And that's basically what happened. They were just inviting them. Weak sauce. Yeah, well said, Quantapen. Weak sauce. Total weak sauce interior defense and perimeter defense. Totally weak sauce. All right, here. This is okay. The only Knick since the NBA Cup who has a 120 offensive rating and up is Miles McBride. Brunson's at 117.8. Josh Hart, well, he's irrelevant right now because he hasn't played recently. Kolek is at 115.9, almost a 116. Towns is at 115.4, and his defensive rating is a 123.5. His net rating is an abysmal minus 8.1. Look at the net rating here. So we got McCullough. He's getting minutes. He's a minus 18.4. Hey, you know what? He's basically a rookie. He barely played last season. Okay. Yabusele, we know we've had major issues with him already. He's a minus 14.3. But we're not talking about a lot of minutes for these guys. Mohamed Diawara, he's got some starter minutes here and there, but he'll start and play 5 minutes. So he's a minus 12.6 in that rating. Thaddeus, ignore this. Josh Hart. By the way, Josh Hart, he did play 4 games during this stretch, a minus 10.9 in net rating. So he wasn't the answer at all. So that means the problems were appearing before Josh Hart got hurt. But it was the incredible heroics and timely shooting of Brunson, Deuce, Kolek, and McCall, that made a big difference for a while. But after a while, especially when you start playing against better opponents, that's going to dwindle. Brunson, a minus 10.5 during this stretch, where the Knicks went 5-5 during those 10 games he played. They're actually 5-6 in the last 11 games since the NBA Cup. Towns is a minus 8.1. OG, and Towns missed one game because of the stomach flu. OG is a minus 7.0. I'll skip Trey. Mitch Robinson, a minus 3.5. Why do I show you these things? Because collectively, these Knicks are not committed to the brand of basketball that Mike Brown had instituted in the first 25 games of this season. That's right. Here, we'll go to this. I want you guys to see how these Knicks were doing before that. Oh, wait. Advanced. Sorry about that. I thought I had this set up. My apologies. Okay. It should give you a little contrast. In the first 25 games of the season, OG was a plus 17. Plus 17. Now he's a minus 7.0. That's a 24-point swing per 100 possessions. That's insane. Deuce was a almost plus 14. He's a plus 1.9. That's a big shift. Mitch, a plus 11.8. We saw he's a minus 3 something. Brunson, plus 11.7 right here. Before the NBA Cup, now he's a minus 10.5. Oh my God, what kind of swing is that? That's another 20. That's a 22-point swing. And Towns was a plus 10.6. Look at his defensive rating. It's a 111.4. That's a really good defensive rating. 122 offense. But now, a 123 defensive rating. He's a minus 8.1. And really, in my opinion, he is the tipping point. Because when there was a play where it was a Nick drove. I think he shot up a floater. It could have been Brunson. It was a key moment in while the Knicks were trying to claw back in this game. And it's like around here. Yeah, I think it was around late in the third quarter. Yeah, I guess they were down 16 already, but whatever. You maybe get it down to 10 by the half, by the switch over from the third quarter to the fourth quarter. Maybe you give yourself some hope. And instead, he's like, I don't know, he's like doing some mauling with Isaiah Stewart, and the ball bounces behind him. And some other little Piston guy comes over and gets the rebound. It could have been an offensive rebound for us. He had so much room behind him. Instead, he's not looking at the ball. He's not aware of what's happening with the flight of the ball or the situation at all. Could have been an offensive rebound. Let's look at the team comparisons here. Out-rebounded. Out-assisted. Look at the stocks. 23 of them for the Detroit Pistons is just 10 for us. It's a minus 13 for us. They got 11 blocks. And you know what blocks do? Blocks energizes the team. that gets the block, invigorates them, reinvigorates them in a moment when there's a lull, and you suddenly put up. Knicks had some nice runs. Knicks responded in the third quarter with a nice 10-2 run. It was 85-69 at that point. And then, of course, in the last minute of the game, they allow 2 more buckets for Detroit to go down 20. So they were down 16. Could have gone the other way. They could have been down 14, down 12 going into the fourth quarter. And I think that's the part where I was talking about where Cat could have gotten the offensive rebound, put it back, maybe got fouled. Who knows? That turns into a 3-point game or something. But he couldn't muster that. The Knicks were, with 4:38 left in the third quarter, Knicks had been outscored in the third quarter 19-5. So they made a nice little response, a 10-2 run. But ultimately, it's like these blocks that just supercharges the Detroit Pistons. And the Knicks are left, guessing and wondering. They committed 20 turnovers. The points conceded off turnovers were absolutely a major issue in this game. The Knicks, here it is. Here is the difference in the game. Here's the difference. Now, the Knicks lost by 31 points. They lost by 31 points. But they conceded 33 points off of their 20 turnovers and only got 10 back. That's 23-point difference. And then you add on, the additional made 3-pointers. And also, there was a lot of garbage time. And then they got destroyed in points in the paint. But it comes down to the turnovers, the sloppiness with the ball. There were times where Jalen Brunson was just throwing the ball to the other side. And, of course, these Pistons were ready for the New York Knicks. They knew how we wanted to play, how we like to play. We like to pass the ball. When we get stopped on certain possessions, who we look for. Do we look for the guy in the corner? Do we look for the guy up top? And they were shooting those gaps and creating a lot of problems for the Knicks. They put length on Brunson. Holland is a very decent defender. Even though he's a horrible offensive player, he's a very good defensive player, and he created a lot of problems for Brunson, along with Thompson. So that combination of the two of them. But it really comes down to the Knicks not being able to take care of the ball. These 33 points were the absolute difference in this game, in my opinion. Totally. Right there. Man. That's embarrassing. And we didn't share the ball. 15 assists? 15 assists? That's not Knick basketball. Now I'm going to talk about how to fix this. I was hoping to do a pregame show to talk about this, but work didn't allow. And it comes down to this, actually. The New York Knicks okay. So, it's a given fact that the Knicks, every time they begin a game, on the jump, the fact that 40% of your starters are mediocre to horrific defenders. It's just the reality of it. The fact that that's the case when they begin means they are behind. They're already playing from behind right away. The way to overcome that is to just have a better offense. Outscore the other opponent. Have a good enough defense, but outscore the other opponent. That is the way to handle this. I'm going to show you some stats here. Waiting for them to load. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is from ESPN Analytics. These are the best NBA players in overall net points this season. Okay, overall, the number one In net points, Shea Gilgeous, 262.25. And then right behind him is Joker with 214. Okay, fine. Donovan Mitchell, 135.3. Cade Cunningham is fourth best with 115.49. Luka, and then Ant. That's overall. But offensively, it's Shea and Joker, which is the same, and Mitchell. The same three as overall. But number 4 is Jalen Brunson with a 117.07 total net rating points. Behind him is Harden and then Doncic. Defensively, we all know the story. No Nick is up here. Wembanyama is the best with AJ Mitchell, who we drafted and traded. He was the best. He's Chet Holmgren, who is my dream 5 for this team. I wish he was a Nick. Cason Wallace. So now 3, 4 OKC players in a row here. Defensive, and then Gobert. But the bottom 6 in offense, on offense, defense, and overall. Look who's in the bottom 6. Jalen Brunson. Defensive worst. He is the 4th worst defender in the NBA. So he is the 4th best offensive weapon in the NBA and the 4th worst defensive liability in the NBA. So he is what he, but overall, he gives you enough. Because when you look at the overall stats here, he's 19th. 19th. Here he is. In the entire NBA. Sorry. 19th in the entire NBA. To 117 total offensive net points, minus 44 defensive points, equals out to 73, which is right there with Jamal Murray, Alperen Sengun, Steph Curry, Norman Powell. Everyone's like, look at Giannis at an 83, just a few spots above him, and even Victor Wembanyama, 83. So plus 10 net points more, but it's negligible. Brunson's there ahead of Chet Holmgren, Derek White, but look who's here too, Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges with a 65 total net points. Now that all looks great. Okay? But look at last year. Last season, these are the net points per 100 possessions. The total net points are through the total amount of games. It's been 36 games. So you can't compare apples to apples. You got to look at the points per game, the 100 possessions here, this is equivalent to points per game. It's kind of like that. Offensively, Brunson last season had a 4.9 offensive net rating and a minus 1.8 defensive for an overall 3.1, which is very good. Number 1 on the team was Mitchell Robinson, 3.5. Number 2 was Karl-Anthony Towns, 3.2, and then Brunson, 3.1. Now look at this season. Offensively, Brunson's better than last season. Defensively, Brunson is about the same. It is exactly the same, minus 1.8. Last season, minus 1.8. Now, see how this color pink is a little lighter? Because there's more offense being scored this season than last season. This is all relative to how many points are being scored in comparison to others. So, but he's very similar. The 3.1 overall last season. This season he's a plus 3. He's a 3.3. So he's a little tick better. But Towns this season is overall 2.6 compared to last season. He was a 3.2. That 0.6 is a lot. His defense has actually marginally improved, but what has reduced? His offense. He only has a 2.3 net points per 100 possessions offense compared to last year where he was a 3.0. And then Mitch is another huge factor. 2.1 offensively, 1.4 defensively. That totals to 3.5 overall. That was last season. This season, he's nowhere near close to that. He's a 1.3 offensively, 1.7 defensively, which is better than last season, by the way. But the offense has gone down, and he's a 2.9 overall. 2.9 overall, which this season is second best on the team. Last season he was number 1 with a 3.5. So our bigs, Mitch and Carl, have taken a dip this season. And that's truly what has hurt the Knicks. Now, could it be because the perimeter defense is basically just like a sift, just allowing offensive players to just drive into the guts of this offense, into the defense, I mean? It could possibly be. But let's look at defensively what's happening this season. So, number 1 defensively, Ariel Hawk-Porty with a 2.3. Number 2, Mitch with a 1.7. OG Anunoby with a 1.3. And Mikal Bridges with a 0.8. Compare that to last season. All right, Beauchamp, let's ignore him. Last season, Mitch was a 1.4, which this season he's a 1.7. So he's better this season. McCullough, okay, but look at everyone else. Last season, where is OG? OG was a minus 0.1. This season he's a plus 1.3. Damn. But oh wow. That's quite a swing right there. But Deuce, so Deuce is a 2.1 overall last season, and last season he was a 0 where's Deuce? 0.3. So really when you look at this, the main issues with the Knicks defense are Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson. And it's not necessarily the defense, it's the offense. Their offense needs to improve to get back to what they were doing last season. That's really what it comes down to. Towns dropped from a 3.0 in offensive net points to a 2.3. And Mitch dropped from a 2.1 to a 1.3. Because Brunson's the same, pretty much. So, it comes down to our big guys. Now, this whole debate about whether you should be doing everything you can to win a regular season game, even if it means overplaying, overburdening your key players to just get that W in the season, I'm not down for that. We've seen what the results are. We heard the players themselves say it. Josh Hart said he had nothing left in the tank against the Pacers. We've heard Mikal Bridges say last year we could have played more of the bench guys. They can contribute. The Knicks are missing Josh Hart, who obviously, this season his impact is not as strong as last season. He only has a 1.0 net points, where last season he was a 1.4. Okay, so he was a little better last season. His defense is better this season, though, marginally. But his offense is not. That totally tracks. But they're missing key guys. Shamet. Look at Shamet right here. Look at Josh Hart right here. They're missing key guys. And it's almost like this team is constructed to depend upon the others to give you what they can. But we really need Towns, Mitch, OG, and Mikal Bridges to step up big time now. Has to happen. Has to happen. All right, I'm going to wind this down. Been talking for a while. I appreciate everyone rolling up here with me. You guys are the best. I mean, such great fans. Amazing fans. Oh, sorry. That's why I love doing this channel. You guys are the best. You're the smartest. Here's OG tonight. 5 points on 3 shots. A game low. minus 31. Ian Begley tweets out, Knicks 31-point loss in Detroit is their fourth straight, which ties their longest losing streak since December 2022. They've trailed by at least 19 in second half of their last 3 losses. Knicks are 2-4 since Josh Hart hurt his ankle. Have had one of the NBA's worst defenses in that span. And then James Edwards III tweets out, Brown on defensive schemes. Everything is on the table right now. I believe that's all I have. Yeah. Well, I appreciate everyone rolling up. Definitely going to reread the chat. Drop your comments. Very rough loss. Hey, we surveyed 100 people. I saw Lex the Destroyer earlier on. Thank you so much for holding it down, brother. I believe this is the Knicks can turn this around. I believe. I mean, I know I can. I know they can. I know they can. You know, the team that we saw earlier in the season is not an illusion. It definitely happened. You know, they were one game away from first. That team is for real. They've just hit a really rough patch right now. And hopefully the Knicks can regroup. Let's see, what do we got? We have, who do we play next? We play the Clippers next on Wednesday. The Clippers, recently, I think they in the past six games, they have the best defense in the NBA. So that'll be, but the Knicks are coming home. So some of that home cooking should be good. Usually the bench players play better at home. So it'd be nice to, you know, kind of steady the ship, pick up that win. And then the Knicks fly out to Phoenix for Friday, January 9th. Phoenix just recently defeated OKC. Booker's playing very well. But if the Knicks could pull off that victory and then follow it up with 2 more wins, one in Portland and one in Sacramento, before ending their road trip with the Warriors on January 15th. So these are very winnable games for the Knicks coming up. I would say the biggest challenge are the next 2, the Clippers and the Suns. This is a funny team. You know, they lost 4 in a row. I can easily see them winning 5, 6, 10 in a row, honestly. And at some point, Hart's going to be coming back. I think he's very close. And Shamet is close as well. I could see this team just rattling off a string of wins. And then we'll be like talking about, oh, remember how worried we were? That's how bizarre this team is. That's how bizarre the NBA is. So let's hope that that I speak that into fruition. I want to see a nice 6-7 game winning streak. All right. Thank you so much for watching this. Again, my name is George. Please follow me on social media. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Turn on a notification bell so you are alerted when I actually go live. Hit the thumbs up button for me. And drop your comments. Definitely want to hear your thoughts and feelings about anything Knicks, especially if you think of something later. Drop it in the comments. I read them all. And again, don't want to panic, but I think this is a night where Karl-Anthony Towns needs to really look at himself in the mirror and takes like a full inventory of his demeanor and just play on the court. He needs to understand what he needs to do to win. And it's not driving from the 3-point line, honestly. If it's there, it's there. But don't force it, bro. Now, don't force it. Or start driving. Then pull up for a midi. You're an incredible shooter. Show that off. Show it to us. Show the world that you are the best big man shooter in the NBA. Maybe in the history of all time. Time to prove it again. Show the world that you are that guy. And the Knicks will start winning on your coattails. All right. Oh, shout out to We Survey 100 People. Thank you so much for the membership. JC Fins 20 receives the membership. It's fabulous. I love building up that membership pool there. It's fantastic. Wasn't able to do a halftime show today because I started watching the game later. So I was really catching up during halftime. But, you know. Man. What a bummer. All right. I hope all of you somehow have a decent night after this. Get some good sleep. I know it's 11:13 there in the East Coast. We'll let the Pistons earn it. They can talk all the shit they want. They earned it from this win, but it's just one win. It's just one win in the regular season. It's a long way to go. We're not even halfway through the season, and then the playoffs are a whole different animal. So yeah, Pistons are young. They're hungry. But do they know how to actually close out a series? It takes a long time to learn that. We saw the Celtics. It took a while for them to learn it. It took a while for Denver to learn it. It took a while for OKC to learn it. It takes a while, no matter how great a team you are. And we saw the Knicks figure it out last season, and they were so close. Got to get back there. All right, I will see you around the Knicks-Verse. Let's go. Get back on track. At home.